Hello, I'm Dr. Kill, a relation to Dr. Seuss.
Oh, I'm disappointed to hear that.
Well, do you want to introduce yourself?
Oh yeah, I should probably do that. Nobody knows the sound of my voice. Hi everybody, I'm Leavemywife.
Yeah, and we're here to play Ocarina of Time quite strangely. So, on the last episode, we did the water temple. And since then, I've basically just stocked up on bombs and explosives. And today we're going to handle the fire temple. There's a lot of steps to do in that process. And the first thing I'm going to do, if you notice, I have a bottled fish on C right, and 17 Deku nuts. And I'm going to go adult, and that's going to do something to my adult B button, which I've explained before. This is going to point to item number 17. And item number 17, because that's how many Deku nuts I have, and item number 17 is the Megaton Hammer.
Oh, I thought I was going to give you like 17 Master Swords.
No. It goes by item numbers, and yeah, item number 17 is the hammer, so you can see I have the hammer on B.
Yeah, that is fantastic.
Yeah, I've showed this up before. I used this to get Farore's Wind on me. You can get any game item on B that you want this way, pretty much. Sometimes it's a little bit harder to get certain items. But this is the first step towards completing the fire temple. Do you have an idea what the next step might be?
I have no idea. I'm so amazed by Megaton Hammer on B, because I can't think of... Oh, that was fantastic.
Yeah, it works as a hammer. So, like I said, there's a lot of steps for me to try to actually beat the fire temple. And the next step I'm doing, and possibly the most important step, you see this horse here?
Uh-huh.
I'm going to get on this horse. And then I'm going to get off the horse. Okay, we're done here.
That's the most important step?
Yeah, most important step completed.
Oh,
It's quite an effort.
I thought you were going to ride it to the top of the mountain. Holy crap, you're moving really fast.
No, this is just me speeding up because it's just me walking.
Oh,
but the most important thing is done. What do you think step 2 is? Or step 3 maybe, I don't know. What do you think the next step is?
Going back to a child.
Yes. And after that?
Actually, okay. Going to the Lost Woods?
Yep, next step to beating the fire temple is beating the Deku Tree. I'm sure everyone's aware of that.
Yeah, I totally knew that. Testing you.
I need to get to the Deku Tree. I'm speeding up because, again, this is not super necessary to actually see all the way through. I'm going to avoid this owl. I don't want to talk to it. If you target something, he can't talk to you. Anyways, a slight little note about the Sacred Forest Meadow that I just went through. I didn't take the shortest way out. I didn't climb the ladder and go across the top. And I did that for a very specific reason. It's hard to explain, but if I update my B button in any way, which is like equipping a sword, or saving quitting, dying, getting a bottle on B, or even if I go in water or climb anything, that'll ruin the trick that I'm doing. So I'm actually...
Really?
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of stuff that's hard to see. And right now what I'm going to do, way back in episode 2, I skipped the Deku Tree typical, loading. Like I wanted to make sure I preserved this cutscene. I specifically mentioned that I wanted that. And I'm cashing that in right now. I need to watch this cutscene right now. Because as a little spoiler for what's going to happen, I'm going to actually wrong warp to Ganon's tower. I'm going to warp to Ganon's tower. But in order for wrong warps to work, the last cutscene you've watched has to be a specific cutscene. Really, for the wrong warps to take you somewhere else anyways. And for the Deku Tree, there's only a couple of cutscenes that work, and I've used up all the other ones. So I needed to preserve that cutscene to get this to work.
So there's something I'm curious about with all these glitches and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know all of them, like, off the top of your head, or do you read a guide or something to freshen up before you do these, or...?
So, a lot of this, I do know because I've done them a lot, but I do check. I linked it in one of my posts. ZeldaSpeedruns.com is sort of like a repository for a lot of the information. I refer to that a lot about, mostly for our Reverse Bottle Adventure RBA stuff. The wrong warps, they don't actually have a lot of... They explain how they work, but not necessarily have like all the possibilities with it. There's other stuff for that. I do have some links that I can refer to in case I don't remember how to do a trick. I basically have a huge bookmark list of YouTube videos in case I need to check it. But a lot of these I've done enough that I do remember how to do them.
That's crazy. I don't remember how to get through Deku Tree most of the time, and you know how to... I'm watching this and I'm just amazed, and we're less than 5 minutes in, and all this is just fantastic to me.
It's really fun to do. And yeah, like right now I'm setting up the wrong warp, and I have to sort of do the camera in a certain way. Everything I'm doing right now is camera manipulation, so I'm kind of being slow about it. I have to get it just right. But if I set it up, and now, if you turn up your sound, you should do that, because it's interesting what happens when I use that cutscene that I used to warp here.
Okay, I'm waiting.
So now we're in Ganon's Tower, but if you listen to the music that's playing, I guess you can't hear it during the. Can you hear it? Yeah, I'll make sure to turn it up a little bit, but the Kokiri Forest music is playing while in Ganon's Tower, and that's because of the cutscene that I used, the talking to the Deku Tree. If you watch that cutscene before you use this warp, it causes the Kokiri music to play during this cutscene, or during when you're here. And now it's playing while Ganondorf is dying.
Well, I think you just dramatically improved the game.
Yeah. Just nice, happy music while Ganondorf's dead and her saving Zelda as a child.
I think that this is how Ocarina of Time was meant to be, and you just unlocked the true ending.
I'd like to think so. So, as you can see, you can get into Ganon's Tower from Deku Tree, the very first dungeon, and this is what they use for the fastest speedrun. They use this warp. They call it Ganondor. Ganondor, like a door. Nice little.
I've actually heard of that one.
Yeah, nice little shorthand for it, I guess. It's just a common enough trick to talk about that just it has its own name. But yeah, it lets you get straight to the ending and past Ganondorf the fight, which is important because Ganondorf you need light arrows to fight, but Ganon does not. Ganon only needs just a thing to hit him with. So they can finish the game right now. Like, I could beat Ganon once I get to him. I could just beat him and finish the game. But we're not going to do that.
I thought you need the Master Sword to do that.
So, if you remember, Ganon knocks your sword away when the fight starts.
Right. Oh.
That actually puts a Master Sword, like, there. And when you go pick it up, it'll put it on your B button, even if you're a child. So you can still win that way.
Are those rocks actually on fire? Will they burn your shield?
Not the ones that are falling.
Huh.
I'm actually getting a slide off of this rock. I was trying a trick that I've never actually done before. I wanted to see if I just can try it. If you slide in a certain way while targeting Zelda, you can actually clip out of bounds. Hit the void level at the same time you hit a loading zone. That'll actually load the next area, but set your coordinates back to the previous area, sort of. And basically what that does is it'll put me super high up in Ganon's tower, but in a different loading zone where I could just basically fall to the bottom, and I would skip the entire tower. But it's a trick I've never done before, so I didn't really worry about hitting it.
I refuse to believe there's tricks you've not done. I think you're trying to be dramatic.
No, I haven't talked about too much, but I'm not like a crazy good speedrunner. I'm not anywhere near like the top. There's a lot of tricks that I don't do just because I would basically have to grind them out and just spend a whole lot of time practicing. I don't really want to practice every single thing. That trick is pretty much only useful in like that specific speedrun category, and I'm not interested in doing that category. Just beating the game as fast as possible. Just that. So I've never learned that trick. But it's a very impressive trick, and someone had linked the recent world record run, and they do that trick in a very impressive way, in a much faster way than even what I was attempting to do it. Looks really cool. But so I just decided to go down Ganon's Tower normally. Also because I actually failed the trick.
Well, you can remove that comment in post, right? No one has to know that you failed.
No, I don't care. It's a very hard trick, and I've never practiced it, so.
I'm glad you don't care if they know, because I was going to tell everybody. Kind of a gossip like that, I'm sorry.
That's fine. I'll have to take my knocks. It's okay. But there are rocks on the floor, like they were in that last room. All these rocks, those will burn my shield. On the Nintendo 64, I think it'll crash your game if your shield burns.
Oh. I'm
a virtual console, and it's never happened to me. I've had my shield burned before, and it hasn't crashed. So I think it's just N64, but I avoid it just in case. I equip the healing shield just to be safe.
Now, can you do all these? I'm sure this has been asked before, but can you do these tricks on like the 3DS version of the game?
Not exactly the same. There are some wrong warps. Just they don't work. They work differently. Reverse bottle adventure, RBA, that works. A lot of the clipping is different, but some of the same clips you can do just in different ways. It's kind of a weird thing. There's enough of the engine in there that a lot of the same tricks will work, but the code is lined out so that a lot of the memory affecting is different, so it's kind of weird. But we're down here. I'm skipping through this cutscene because it's long and it's just a tower collapsing. But we're finally to the important thing the reason why I'm doing all of this. I'm getting rid of this fairy just because I need to get rid of it. But the whole point of doing this was to get to the Ganon fight. That was the whole purpose of me wrong warping here.
Are you actually going to fight Ganon?
I'll fight him a little bit, but actually, that's not even what I needed to do. I came here to see this cutscene specifically, not to actually fight Ganon. So, what I'm here for, again, I even mentioned it. Ganon knocks your sword away. It makes your B button swordless. It takes away what's on your B button, and that's what I'm actually here for. When he knocks your sword out of your hands, like he's about to do, it changes my B button, but not in the way that I said would ruin the trick that I'm working at here. And that's sort of what I need. I need to have a non-standard item on my B button, a non-sword item, but I had to do it in a way that wouldn't have ruined the trick, like I said, without actually updating it in a specific way. And that's what I did, so I'm swordless. And that's what I came here to do. That was the entire point. And that hit was on purpose. I did do that on purpose. Me getting hit.
Oh, I was hoping that you were going to have a knockdown, drag-out brawl with Ganon like that. Like you're just going to punch him in the crotch till he died.
No. I'm fighting here in a little bit, but just as a demonstration. I'm rolling, but because Child Link is so small, you can just walk back and forth underneath him. But it only takes 3 hits to basically kill him, because the DQ stick is actually as strong as the Master Sword, which does more damage to Ganon, regardless. It'll do more damage than the Biggoron Sword. But the stick works the same way too, it just does more damage to him. But all I really needed was swordless. Now we're going to get out of here using the trick I've mentioned before. If you use a bottle and another item, you can actually use that item as an ocarina.
I was hoping you're going to catch Ganon in a bottle.
No. I just need to get out of here. And your normal ocarina doesn't work, so I had to use the bottle. And you can use... And I don't have a sword, so I just use the stick. Anything that gets put in your hand, you can use as an ocarina. But now the last step in this long process is to die.
What?
And what happens is when you die with a non-standard B... Like a non-standard thing on your B button, something really cool happens. So I came here to get killed. Sped it up a little bit, because you don't need to see all of it. But now... Check out my B button.
You have a Megaton Hammer as a child.
I have a Megaton Hammer as a child on my B button.
An invisible Megaton Hammer.
And it's invisible. It seems like child and adult items, if they're on the other version of Link, are invisible. So, I'll try to explain it very quickly, but me getting on the horse, way back at the beginning, what that does is that sets whatever's on your B button, if it's like a wrong item, it'll put that item in a temporary B value, a temp B. They call it temp B. And it saves that value, like it's in the memory, as long as you don't update your B button. So it's sort of saved. It even saved through me going through time. And by getting swordless without changing my B button in all those ways I said would ruin the trick, when I die it actually updates my B button to that temporary B value. I don't know exactly why it does it, but it does. This is much easier to set up as an adult, but so you can restore something onto your B button that way. But because it saves going through time, you could actually do it, make it update something onto child B2. And that's what all this effort was for, was to get Hammer on B so I can actually beat Volvagia.
But you only have a minute to get through the temple.
I don't need... that's why I got the fairies. Yeah, because I don't have Goron Tunic. So I'm gonna need to sort of manage my health. That's why I got so many hearts too. But having so many hearts and all those fairies, it's plenty to get through the Fire Temple.
So is there any way to replicate the tunic effects from the adult to the child?
I think so, but not in this version.
Oh.
Basically, you would get. I actually did mention it in one of the episodes, but you can get a timer to glitch out and sort of override the timer that's happening in lava. I don't know for sure if you can transfer it to child, but I know it works as an adult, but in earlier versions of the game, not this version.
I'm sorry, I remembered that you mentioned that when you said it, and it's one of... You mentioned a lot of things. I can't keep up with them all.
No, that's fair. And I don't know if it works as a child. I don't know if it'll transfer. But yeah, we're here. I RBA'd the Fire Temple boss key way again in another episode, which is significant because getting the boss key as a child is actually incredibly hard. And since I already have the hammer, I can just go beat Volvagia. And so I got the key to make this easier. And again, you need the hammer for Volvagia. Having the hammer is the only thing that'll stun and kill her. You can damage her other ways, but you have to stun her and kill her with the hammer.
Wait, Volvagia is a girl?
I don't know. I don't know if it really matters. That's how I see her. Her Morpha, I guess. I don't know. One thing I will note about Volvagia, there are 2 Volvagia models in this fight.
What?
Most people don't really know that. There's this one that flies around, and then there's the one that pops up that you actually hit with the hammer. That you stun. Those are 2 separate models, but they actually both exist in this fight at the same time. It's just you only ever see one at a time.
That seems kind of like a strange amount of effort.
Yeah, and it's significant because it's right under where she goes, and if I leave bombs in a certain spot on the floor, it'll actually damage the other Volvagia. So that's what I'm doing right now. They share a health bar, so I'm damaging the one that's under the ground while I'm stunning the one that's up top. And this is the fastest way to get rid of Volvagia. I actually screwed up a little bit. My timing was a bit off because you have to time this in a specific way. But what happens is I've damaged her, and because I've damaged her in a certain way, she doesn't ever fly around. And I do this one last bomb hit and then stab her real quick, and it kills her, and the fight is over.
Well, that was worth the price of admission alone. I mean, all the other cool shit I saw was great, but seeing you waste Volvagia in 30 seconds...
Yeah, and the timing is actually, I don't say it's like super strict, but it's something I did have to take a while for me to figure out. And I actually, like I said, I did almost mess it up, but I managed to, like, I guess recover. So it ended up looking pretty cool. And she never flew around, which is where she's a real problem. She'll start breathing fire and she can start dropping rocks. But we skipped all that. She didn't even ever attack.
Wait,
I didn't take any damage.
What did you need the fairies for?
Oh, we're not done with the Fire Temple.
Oh. Oh.
That was all to beat Volvagia. I did Volvagia first because dying with the hammer means if I actually straight up died, I would lose it. And I wouldn't be able to get it back. Getting something on your child B button, you get one shot at it. Because that wrong warp is gone after you use it. So I just wanted to take care of Volvagia so I didn't have to risk losing that hammer at all.
I see.
Yeah, this cutscene's funny. It doesn't crash the game like the other ones do, but it does take you into like an unloaded version of Death Mountain Crater. Kind of weird. I actually didn't know that. This is the first time I saw it too. Kind of funny. But we've beaten the Fire Temple. But now we actually have to go get the Megaton Hammer. And the Fire Temple is very annoying as a child because obviously I don't have a Goron Tunic, but also everything in there will burn my shield. And I need this shield. I'm going to be doing some bomb hovering later, and I need the shield for that. So if I lose it, I would have to leave and come back or whatever. It's very dangerous here as a child.
Yeah, I am so psyched to see how you're going to do this, because I hate the Fire Temple.
I actually don't like the Fire Temple very much either, because it doesn't have many glitches, actually. Because it's sort of structured straight up. And because it's so high, there's actually not too many glitches that happen. And because of that, it's probably like my least favorite temple. But
I just don't like it because it's a massive pain in the ass to me. But
no, yeah, it's... I mean, that too, but when I have so many hearts, and I have those fairies, that's not really an issue. I know the Fire Temple well enough that I definitely don't need this many hearts. I just did it just in case. I didn't want to have to manage hearts while doing this.
You know, I do want to say I like how that everything here will burn your shield, but rolling through lava does not affect it one bit.
It doesn't. If I were to die though in lava, no matter what killed me, I would lose the shield. So the way it works is that I guess some of the rooms have like properties, and whenever there's a one with a timer, if you were to die by anything, when you die you get set on fire, and that'll burn your shield.
That seems kind of strange, or...
Yeah, like even if I killed myself with bombs, it would do the animation for me dying from the timer. That happens with if you're in water too. If you somehow die, like before you enter water, and then enter the water, you'll do the drowning animation. Which doesn't have any other effects, except that
it
you
burns
can
your
trigger
shield,
some
right.
glitches.
Oh, trigger glitches.
Well, I meant for the water one. Yeah, but yeah, in this one it'll burn my shield.
I wish there was a way to light your shield on fire underwater.
I think there is probably a way. I don't know. I feel like that might have come up, but I might be thinking of chaos mode. There's an LP someone did of Ocarina of Time, but with like all these random glitches happening, random cheats activating, and I think it'll let them burn their shield underwater.
I saw 8 or 9 episodes of that, and it started freaking my mind.
Yeah, I think you could burn your shield underwater that way, but that's about it. Alright, so the typical way to get up this room is you just have to climb up. But Child Link is so small that no matter how I want to get up, I basically have to do hovers. This is... And then there's those fire slugs up there that will, again, burn my shield if I touch them. So I'm just going to do a real quick hover here. I'll actually be skipping a lot of the... Do you remember the boulder maze?
Vaguely.
Yeah, there's a maze that you have to get through. You have to get some keys and go around.
Oh yeah, that place.
You climb up top. Basically, you just go sort of around, and you actually end up back in this room, and or open up a shortcut. It basically means you could skip ever having to do the boulder maze again. It's just a shortcut back here. What I'm going to actually be doing is skipping the entire boulder maze and just getting to the other end of that shortcut.
Yeah, I played through Ocarina of Time 3DS like 2.5 weeks ago to prepare for this. And I seem to have forgotten everything I encountered in that game.
Yeah, well, it's this right here.
Holy shit!
Yeah, normally you go through the boulder maze and then you open this section up, come around. But if I clip through with a bomb shoe off of a climbable wall, then I can just skip all of it. You can skip this as an adult too, it's just not in the same way.
Will you be showing that off in a future video?
Probably not.
Oh.
I don't know. It's just a small trick. But the point is that you can skip it, and then if you climb up here, you can see there's a ceiling there.
Right.
But it's not ever supposed to be there from this direction. So I'll actually just be going straight through it. Just climb right through. And normally you're supposed to just bomb that, and that opens up this shortcut.
Wait, so it's solid if you're coming through the top where you have to bomb it, but if you're coming through the bottom, the game doesn't realize it's there?
Yeah, that's correct. There's a couple of things that are like that.
Are there?
I mean...
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that they never expect you to be on the other side of a lot of stuff.
I'm curious, are there separate event flags for when you're supposed to have something as a child and something as an adult? Like, maybe I'm not saying that right. I'm not good at this video game terminology stuff.
It's just a bit vague. There's definitely some stuff that the game can tell if you're a child or adult, and it'll load a different scene of a map. That doesn't work for dungeons, though. The dungeons, the way to get into them is structured so that you're not supposed to be able to get through them as a child or as an adult. So there's no real differences in the dungeons between child and adult.
Oh, yeah, the game wouldn't load it differently because you're only supposed to be here as an adult. Right, I gotcha.
Yeah. The one weird difference is that I mentioned before, Song of Time blocks, for whatever reason, are the opposite as a child. Like, they're either loaded or unloaded, the opposite of what they're supposed to be. And I have no idea why that is.
Hey, you got 3 seconds.
No, see, this time I didn't have enough time here. So I just died. But you see how there's that fire?
Right.
That fire would have burned my Deku shield if I had it equipped. And funny enough, if I equipped it right away, too, because I'm still on fire, it would have burned it then, too. So I have to wait till the fire's gone.
Did you once figure that out the hard way?
Yeah, I did. But I just didn't have enough time to finish this room, at least the way I'm doing it. So I just took that death. But having done that, we're pretty safe. What I'm gonna do is hover across. As an adult, you can just jump across like a gap and grab onto the ledge, but Child Link is way too short. So I need to do other stuff.
Man, Child Link needs to start eating his Wheaties.
Yeah. I mean, Adult Link is literally like twice the size of Child Link, so it makes a pretty big difference for a lot of stuff.
Oh, are they really that? Oh.
It's pretty different. Maybe not twice as tall, but it's pretty different. But that let us get across. So I mean, if you look at where Link's head is to that door, he's right at the doorknob.
Yeah.
Whereas Adult Link is much taller, so I don't know.
I don't know, I guess I never thought about that before. Now you mention it, it's kind of... Yeah, I guess he's about that much bigger.
Maybe a little shorter, but he's still a lot bigger, and that causes a lot of differences. Oh, but this room's funny. Normally you're supposed to go through the middle, but if you just do a roll, you can get past that firewall. And I basically skipped. You haven't used a key. I've skipped going through that middle. I basically skipped doing this entire room.
Oh my god.
Just by doing that one roll.
I wish I knew this trick before.
It's very simple. You can do side hops too. Both very easy.
It seems like some of these tricks, they're things that you could figure out if you just take the time to kind of experiment and play around a little and game the way it just... Maybe if you spend some time thinking about it.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. I mean, even some of the more complicated tricks are like that. It's just they have to be found the very first time, and then it takes a little while to figure out what you can use them for.
Yeah, I never figured out how people figured out the process to replicate these tricks.
It's a lot of practice, usually, and accidents. Okay, so I have to fight this flare dancer. Normally you're supposed to hookshot it, but you can use bombs to stun it and then hit it. Weird thing about the flare dancer, the Master Sword does more damage to it than any other thing, including the Begorn Sword and the hammer. The hammer actually takes a really long time to kill this thing. I don't know why.
Yeah, I remember that from when I just played through it. I used the hammer thinking that thing was... You're just gonna crush it, and it took me forever.
Yeah, no, it's good for stunning it, because it'll stun it the same way the bombs are doing. But damaging is... You want Master Sword. Or using the DQ Stick, which is the same thing as the Master Sword, pretty much. I mean, I mentioned it multiple times, but they do the same amount of damage, but also it seems like whatever the Master Sword does more damage to, the DQ Stick will also do more damage to. So I don't know exactly how that coding works.
I do know, however, and due to this LP, that I now know how great DQ Sticks are, and when I was Child Link, I was just crushing everything with DQ Sticks.
Yeah. I mean, the big problem is that they break, obviously, but in this game, when you have the power crouch stabbing that I do, where I store that damage, or if I use Ice G, they never break, so they're a lot more effective. For Child, anyways.
Now, what item does the most damage in the game in a single hit? Is it the Bigoron sword? Bigoron?
Yeah, I mean, on its own, but again, there's stuff that the Master Sword will do more damage to.
Is there any way that you could do the infinite sword glitch thingy with the Master Sword when you're like hitting Ganon so that it does more damage, but you're able to keep that damage on the infinite sword glitch? And
yeah, if you do an attack and then you switch swords, it'll store whatever you did the attack with.
Okay, so
it's like a jump attack with the Gorn Sword will stay to the Master Sword.
Oh, okay. And then you have... Oh god, yeah. The video's almost over?
Yeah, sorry, it is. So that's the end. We got the Megaton Hammer. There wasn't like any glitches to that, so once we're here, we can get it pretty easily. But we got it as a child, not too hard, and that's the end of the video. So we've pretty much finished all of what I wanted to show off in the Fire Temple.
Yay, cool.
So I guess goodbye, everyone, if you want to say goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for watching.